What does human-led even mean?
Human-led to me is taking people on the background of your personal life, on your personal journey, and bring them into the storyline.
It's no longer speed, it's no longer efficiency, it's no longer whether you can. It's simply about being noticed amongst all of that.
With AI creating content faster than ever, how do we maintain the human touch in our personal brand or business?
Welcome to the Social Edge podcast. I'm Georgia.
And I'm Isho.
And today we're talking about human-led branding in an AI-first world.
With AI creating content faster than ever, how do we maintain the human touch in our personal brand or business? Today we're unpacking this conversation. We hope that this is helpful for you and it gives you another step in a direction of your authenticity.
I love it. So this is a really great topic and we're going to jump straight in with a great question. What does human-led even mean?
I mean, it's a big question and it also isn't.
Yeah.
Human-led to me is taking people on the background of your personal life, on your personal journey, whether that's with business, with your personal brand, and bring them into the storyline. We always talk about storytelling. I know sometimes it sounds like we're touching on these topics often, but they do relate.
Yeah.
On that journey quite often. So it's bringing people in and showing people the stories, the decisions that you've made, the outcomes that you've seen, and ultimately what brought you to this part of your journey.
Yeah.
And what you're sharing with people.
I love it. It's like whether you're a personal brand and it's your personal account or it's your business account, it's showing the what happened behind what you're doing today. So whether it's the journey that person took to get them to where they are today, or the things that they go through, the daily thoughts that they have, what's the mindset behind the person that is behind that personal brand. That's why it's all that day in the life content. It's what is actually happening in that person's day that means that they show up as the person they are today on social media. Or if you're a business, what was the thing that made that person start that business? What was the struggle they faced? What was the issue they faced? And that's what human-led branding is all about. It's the fact that we're talking about the human, the people behind that brand.
But it's also, this is how, for example, I learn. I love to spend a little bit of time watching YouTube video content that is really behind the scenes of businesses.
Oh yeah, behind the diary.
Behind the diary. Again, shout out to Stephen Bartlett. Absolutely love what he's doing behind the diary, because he brings you into not only his personal life, but also how he navigates business growth, hiring, firing.
Well, it's like any of the reality TV, Keeping Up with the Kardashians, like the Real Housewives, all of that. I know those are two very women-orientated things. They just came to my mind. But that's exactly what it is. Yeah. It's like everyone knows who these people are in terms of what the magazines say about them. People know their businesses, they know their brands. This is like a step behind the scenes of who are these people in their day-to-day life? What caused them to get to where they are? What are the challenges they face? What are the things that happen? I think people really care about that, because it all comes down to what you said at the beginning. It's like authenticity. It's that it's just going on that journey with people, and people love it because it makes them feel like they're having a human touch in a very technology-driven,
100%.
AI-driven, social-driven world. It's less about results, it does get you results, but it's less about you trying to get something from someone or doing a sales pitch. It's just, it seems like it's like you're giving people a little inside in, like a little moment where you share something with them and people feel like they resonate with that. That's resonance is so powerful 100%. On social media, like the ability to make someone feel like you can relate to them or they can relate to you. That is so powerful.
They feel seen, they feel important. But let me ask you this question. Imagine Stephen and his team reach out to you personally for your personal brand.
Oh, please.
And they say, and they say, we want to work with you.
Yeah. Oh, come on.
You're already sold, right?
Yeah.
You're sold.
Because
why?
Because why am I sold? One, I've seen the Diaries of a CEO a million times. I'd love to meet Stephen Bartlett. Yeah. I know it grows your exposure because it's how all the people I listen to on Diary of a CEO, if I like the talk, I'll go and follow them on social media. So it's it's built that reliability, it's built that trust. So I know it's a platform builder. This is that's what in answer to the question. But why is it so powerful? Like what he's doing, for example, with Behind the Diary, it's because he's then showing what are the things that go on what is his thought process? Because it's one thing to sit and watch him in a room asking great questions to great people. It's another thing to see the behind the scenes of how he got there and what he's going through and what he's doing in his business and the thoughts that he has. It's been really great at showing him as the like host and his thoughts, because I guess in the actual episodes you don't see that as much.
No, you don't. You wouldn't know that he has a dog. You wouldn't know that he has a great relationship with his partner.
Yeah.
And this is what, again, we're talking about pillars of attention and trust. It's like, I trust what he says, not only because of his credibility in business,
his results,
but also just the way that he is at home, how he talks to his girlfriend, how funny he is with his puppy at home when he comes after a long day at work and just being able to spend time. And again, it just gives you the ability, if he can do all these different things in one day, he's spending enough time into each thing he prioritizes to make sure it's done well.
People want to see that, like celebrities, influencers, personal brands, businesses, they want to see that behind it all, behind the success, behind the smoke and mirrors, they want to see that you are a real person with real feelings. Of course you are, because we all are, right? We all are. But they want to see it to believe it, and they want to experience it with you, and they want that little taste. So it's a really great tactic not in a manipulative way, but it's a really great way to share with your audience a little bit of who you are in order to help them see that journey, see that behind the scenes, so that they can relate to you. I really 100%. Feel like that's so powerful.
I love that.
So let's go on to this next question, because it does link with what you were just saying. And it is, how can AI and humans work together? So I think this is really interesting, because we're talking about human-led branding on social media, for example, and how in an AI-first world where everything's happening so quick, boom, 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 and everything can be done for you. And we talked about in another episode, we talked about these Instagram influencers that are AI influencers. We've talked about that as well. So when all that is going on and people can basically get anything they want at the touch of a button, like they can search for it on ChatGPT, they can use all these new AIs that are popping up. What is it that humans can do to leverage AI in this generation and not kind of miss the boat here?
Yeah, I see it as a weapon. It's a tool. I've said it so many times before when we've touched on this topic. It's a tool in your hand that will either help you speed up all the boring stuff, all the things that have repetitions, things that you don't really fancy doing, or it takes you too much to think about. It could be something like, for you and I, we use it a lot to give us perspective. Often, one of the things that I do, would be go and have a conversation with it, almost a little bit like a coach.
You can voice note it now as well. You can just have a convo.
Yeah, and it will just spit information at you. You just have to think, how can this propel me forward? If something will take me 6 months to complete myself or my team, how can AI take this 6 months into 3 months, into 1 month? And it's possible, right?
It's like how I like to use AI is that I like to use AI to ask questions. So I'll ask questions to AI. I'll do it in a way that provides me with information, so I'm informed at speed. I don't need to do loads of research. I don't even need to do lots of thinking. I just need to think of a really good question that's going to produce the result I need.
Very good.
And then fine-tune the question and keep pushing the AI to get what I need from it. And I'll be honest, like, ChatGPT is like a best friend to me. I literally use it for everything. I don't even Google search anything anymore. I just search in ChatGPT. I have millions of different chats open, and I go back to the same one. I've trained it to know my voice. I actually sometimes ask ChatGPT, what should I do in this situation? Because it's like I've trained it so well, it knows me better than myself sometimes. So it helps me make decisions. But here's what AI can't do. It can't sort of make those judgment calls from a human perspective that are crafted with emotions, heart.
The empathy aspect.
Now, okay, ChatGPT is, and like AI can be trained to think empathetically, but it's only as good as what you put in. So it's like, it's a context-driven solution. So it's like input and output, right? it's the same with anything. You get in it out of it what you put in. You know, there's that fact, isn't it? If you spend 10,000 hours doing any one thing, for example, learning an instrument or practicing a skill, you will become expert level. So if I played golf, even though I'm not a good golfer, if I played golf for 10,000 hours, by the end, I would be pretty good at golf, even though I'm maybe not a natural golfer.
Yeah.
So it's the same with like AI. We can put into it as much as we want to get out a great output.
Sure.
But what it may never do, unless you put
an improved version of what you're asking at.
It's going to put out what you put in. So if like you're utilizing it, for example, for social media, you can put in all the information you want and it's going to give you a strategy. But what it can't do is, it's like if you get it to make you a bulletproof strategy based on all the information you put in and you implement that strategy for 30 days.
Yeah.
But then, for example, there's an algorithm shift or the platform changes or a new feature rolls out and Instagram's favoring that, or someone just did something else, or you've just had a really bad review on Google or you've had a really great review on Google. That strategy that was created then hasn't been updated unless you, a human, go back and re-update the strategy. Yeah. So where do you use AI? You use it, like you said, as like a tool in your tool belt, but you have to be the human that's adapting every day and keeping improving it. So I completely agree. I think you can utilize all AIs as an amazing tool in your tool belt to improve efficiency and to keep things moving forward. Yeah. But you can't just expect that like what came out on day 1, that on day 30, day 40, day 100, that's still going to be relevant, because relevance changes every single day.
100%.
Like when we look back, right, even in the last 5 years, we had like the pandemic, right, COVID. Culturally, the whole world shifted, especially the Western world. The whole Western world, we shifted how we did things because of what happened in the pandemic. So how a human is currently thinking versus 5 years ago is so different to how we were thinking 5 years ago. Absolutely. In terms of like what we want in life. Yeah. And that changes the way people view things. It changes the way people see things. It changes people's appetite. It changes people's desire to spend money. It changes the way that people see the world. Now, AI will maybe be informed about these things if you tell it, but you have to be the one to keep your finger on the pulse. So with human-led branding, what we're saying leverage facilities, leverage AIs, leverage softwares, leverage all the things on the web that you can, but remember that like you know your story, you know your journey, and no one can tell your story better than yourself, even AI. But AI can be used as a tool to enhance it, I'd say.
I love that thought, and I have so many thoughts coming to my mind right now, which is, you know, we all have been part of a team one time or another, or we're managing a team. Yeah. You would often spend time with your team, right? Training them, writing SOPs, teaching them stuff. It's no different.
Yeah.
It's no different.
It's no different.
I want to touch on motherhood a little bit.
Okay.
Because I think this would apply really well with AI. Obviously, with lovely little Thea. Yeah. You know, she started to walk now. Her character is forming quite a bit. I would imagine there are things that you now navigate between yourself and your husband, Gavin, around, you know, what you say, how you are, teaching her certain things. Can you see that same kind of application also to AI in the sense of like the intentional thinking about what do I want my child to take away? What are the right things? Oh my
gosh, this is so good. Like, I think this is so interesting because nothing prepares you for like the reality check of who you are as a human being as becoming a parent. Yes. Because like before you're a parent, some people are very self-aware. So they're going to go on a journey of self-improvement. They're going to, you know, do things like have therapy or improve themselves, set goals. Like, yeah, people are mindful like that. I'm not saying only parenthood can put you in that sort of bracket. But suddenly when you bring a little life into the world and you realize that you've got to raise that little life and you've got to help shape the person they are.
Yeah.
And you read things about how they form their character within the first 3 years and how their personality shapes in the first 7 years. You suddenly become hyper aware of every single little thing that you do. So, for example, you no longer want to shout. You no longer want to use certain words. You no longer want to
behave in a
certain way.
Sure.
Because suddenly you're aware that your actions directly impact their development and the way that they're going to behave.
Absolutely.
And if like there's a character flaw in yourself that you don't want them to have, you're going to instantly think, okay, I don't want to behave in that way around them because I don't want them to inhibit that character flaw. Okay, so now let's take that analogy to what we're doing in business and in social media. I really think that if you are training your AI to understand who you are for like social media, what you want to do is you want to train it to understand your shortcomings, your failures, your struggles, your weaknesses, the things that you've done on your journey. And then you want to, but you also then want to highlight what your goals are, the people you're trying to target, your ideal client avatar. We did an episode previously on about like identifying your ICA. Go back and listen to that episode because it will help inform that. But you're going to give all this information to the AI, and then you're going to say to it, based on all of this, I want you to help me build a strategy around it. Now, that's going to help you, and you're going to then read it. And if there's something that doesn't resonate, you can just respond to the AI. You can tweak it and you can say, oh, this is great, but I actually didn't want to talk about this. Oh, this is great, but can you only touch on that? And this is great. And even though this is part of my story, I actually don't want to mention it. I just want you to be informed about it. You can have those conversations with AI, teaching it to understand you so that then it gives you ideas that you can then put into practice. And okay, so what are you doing there? You're leveraging AI to come up with ideas, to come up with thoughts, to bring inspiration. Like in the past, what did painters do for inspiration? They get outside and look at nature. Like ChatGPT, AIs, like all the different ones that come up, like AI brains and stuff within different softwares. They're all fantastic for being inspired to create something new. And I do think alongside one thing I do, I search socials. Like if I need inspiration, I search all the social platforms. I see what other people are doing in the niches. Then I will pop that into ChatGPT and I'll say like, this is what other people are doing. And I want to create content like this, but about this. And I've already trained my AI to understand me. So it then spoots out a whole load of ideas. And it doesn't mean that I do them all. I just do the ones that resonate. So this is where like the human touch comes together. It's about using it for that inspiration, but not fully trusting in it. Where we do see people going wrong is like you can spot someone who's just created a whole content plan from ChatGPT with no inspiration from a mile off, and it doesn't always resonate because unless you've been so clever in training that AI to understand your ICA and all of that, you are going to struggle. What we do like as a team with our strategists leverage AI, but then they add that human touch to kind of really curate a content strategy. We then have like our graphic designers will put that into like an actual visual that actually makes sense for the brand and resonates with the brand and what the people need. But then they'll use things like AI to understand what palette colors might resonate. So it's like, it's really about leveraging it for key bits, but then bringing it all together. And I think right now, for sure, there's no AI on the market that can do all of that bringing together. But there's lots of AIs out there that are so fantastic. And you should definitely utilize them because they are going to make you faster. They're going to help you keep up. And the truth is, I heard this thing, I thought it was really good. It said, it was actually like an ad, I think. It was saying that like in the past, like it was about people struggled to create things. Sorry, I've lost the word, but it was like before AI, it was the struggle was creating things. Now we don't struggle for that because AI can just create things. AI can just spew stuff out and it can be so fast. So it's like that efficiency thing isn't an issue. So what's the struggle in the marketplace right now? It's no longer speed. It's no longer efficiency. It's no longer whether you can. It's simply about like being noticed amongst all of that.
the personal
So
touch.
that connection and that personal touch. So we almost need to go backwards
Strong,
to get that. Do you agree?
This is such a big topic. I mean, I have so many thoughts here. One of the things that I want to mention is not being afraid of AI. I think too many people are like, especially in the creative space.
Oh my gosh. In
it's
every
going to take my
industry,
job.
though, everyone thinks it's going to lose
Literally.
their job. And the truth is, there are going to be some jobs that are going to no longer be needed because of AI. There's no denying that.
But you can reestablish yourself.
Yes, you can leverage it, reestablish yourself.
Yeah.
Just leverage it.
But I want to touch on the mindset piece, which is something that I think often puts people in a interesting position. And that is being able to adapt your mindset to using AI. Too many people have this analysis paralysis of, oh, how do I even write a prompt? What does a prompt look like? How many times? Like, just get going. Just start trialing things. Work with it. Just don't fear it. But more than that, just flip your mindset. We talked about, obviously, fear, motherhood. For you, maybe your business is your baby.
Yeah.
You know, for you, maybe that is what you want to think about, changing the way that you communicate with your audience, the language that you use. Do you communicate at a level that attracts executives, if that's your market? Do you communicate in a way that is very nice and simple, nice and clear for people that need everything to be spelled out? You know, just thinking about that.
But also it comes down to, like, I think, like, if you want your content to resonate, you need to get a bit of you and your personality out there. And if it's too cookie cutter, i.e. you've just taken it from ChatGPT, I think people will struggle to really grasp your personality and they'll struggle to grasp who you are. And so what you can do is you can maybe leverage AI to come up with ideas, but maybe you want to dip other ways into sharing your personality, whether that's the captions, whether that's doing stories, whether that's doing occasional lives or whatever it might be. There's got to be a way to get you out there. And then I think that'll help people resonate with you in a different way. Like, I think, for example, like everything we've always done for East Studios has always been focused on, like, you know, our ICA and what they need and the solutions and bringing tips and bringing advice. But through this podcast, they've got a little look into behind the scenes of who we are and just heard us talking about topics in a different way. Yeah. Hopefully that's sort of broken the ice a little bit in terms of like what it might be like to work with us. Yeah. And that's obviously part of the aim of this podcast. We want people to see that, like, what we can deliver as, like, if we were working with them as a client. Now, if you are doing content for your business, maybe you could come up with a solution on how you can share your personality, even if your business is like a business page, as in like faceless business. Why not, like, do a founder's post and just say, like, share about who the person behind the brand. Yes. It doesn't need to be on your main grid. Like, that's very good. Figure out how to do it. So for some businesses, it might be a PR piece, right? Like a press release. But, like, press releases can be really powerful for a faceless brand to share a bit of the journey. So you could do a press release on, like, for example, like how you got to where you are today. And so I would encourage you, no matter where you are, like, trying to figure out where you can sort of share the humanity behind what you've built in a really natural way. And there's so many avenues to do it. It's going to be different for everyone. But why not ask AI? And see, why not ask AI? Ask AI for some suggestions, but do what works for you. Do what resonates for you. Like, just because AI suggests it doesn't mean that it's the right direction to go on.
But also I want to say, if you're somebody listening to this and you're thinking, well, I don't even know where to start and how to do it, and I don't even know if I'm, you know, confident enough to jump in front of a camera, or I don't know what my personality is, why not find somebody that can support you in that, somebody like us, that can help guide you. If you've never filmed content before, this is something that we do with our clients. You know, we spend time to help them
create content, and that's it. I think what we want people to be encouraged by is, like, there's solutions out there if you're struggling. there's ways that you can use AI, but remember that you are still the storyteller.
Yeah.
You're still the main character.
Great.
AI isn't.
Yes.
AI is in the passenger seat. You are in the driving seat. So if your content isn't resonating right now, maybe you've let AI take the driving seat. So you just need to reclaim your position. And yes, I think if you do that, your content will start to produce some better results.
Super good.
I love it.
Great conversation. I think we'll wrap it there. Guys, if you haven't seen one of these episodes here, they're going to come up shortly. Go and check out our latest episodes that have come out. If you're listening on any of the other podcast streaming platforms, please give us a like, DM us, drop us a comment. Would love to know what you think about these topics, what your takeaways are. And more than that, if you have any topics of suggestion that you would like to hear from us, don't hesitate to reach us.
We would love that. So yes, I would love it if you like this episode. If there's a topic that you feel really resonates with you, or you've got questions about, just drop them in the comments. Yes. We'd love to just pick them up in a future episode. We should do a poll. Get people to send their questions. That would be great.
Awesome. Well, we'll catch you in the next episode.